Pure Mathematics, Paper 1, Advanced Subsidiary, Wednesday, 13 May 2020. Answer all questions and ensure that your answers to parts of questions are clearly labeled. You should show sufficient working to make your methods clear. Answers without working may not gain full credit. A curve has equation y equals to 2x cubed minus 4x plus 5. Find the equation of the tangent to the curve at the point P2, 13. Write your answer in the form y equals to mx plus c, where m and c are integers to be found. So we are going to use this formula for differentiation. I've circled it in blue. And we're going to use this equation for a straight line, which I've circled in blue. So what you want to do, you want to differentiate 2x cubed. So it's multiplied by 3. So it's 3 times 2 and x to the power 3 minus 1. So that gives you 6x squared. When you want to differentiate minus 4x, it would be minus 4x would be 1 times minus 4x to the power 1 minus 1, which will be minus 4x. Minus 4x to the power 0, which is minus 4. And when you want to differentiate 5, it's the same as 5x to the power 0. So it's the same as 0 times 5x to the power 0 minus 1, and 0 times any number is 0. So your answer is 6x squared minus 4. Now, to find the gradient at the point when x equals to 2, you sub in x equals to 2. So sub in x equals to 2, so it becomes 6 times 2 squared minus 4. It gives you 20. And now we're going to use this equation for a straight line, the one I've circled. Y1 is 13. So it's y minus 13 is equals to m is 20 and x1 is 2. You remove the bracket. 20 times x is 20x. 20 times minus 2 is minus 40. You take the minus 13 to the right hand side, it becomes plus 13. So y is equals to 20x minus 27, because minus 40 plus 13 is minus 27. And that's your equation of the line. And if you plot it on a graph, the red line is the equation of the tangent line. That's the red straight line there. And then the blue curve, that's the equation of that curve, 2x cubed minus 4x plus 5. That's what it looks like on the graph. So that's your complete answer for question number 1. Question number 2. A Coast Guard station monitors the movements of a small boat. At 10 o'clock, the boat is at the point 4i minus 2j kilometers relative to O. At 12:45, the boat is at the point minus 3i minus 5j kilometers relative to O. The motion of the boat is modeled as that of a particle moving in a straight line at constant speed. Calculate the bearing on which the boat is moving, giving your answer in degrees to 1 decimal place, and calculate the speed of the boat, giving your answer in kilometers per hour. For this question, the diagram is very, very important. So it's moving 4 to the right and 2 down, 4i minus 2j. So 4i minus 2j, 4 to the right and 2 down. And minus 3i, minus 3 to the left and 5j, minus 3 to the left and 5 down. And then we can join those 2 points with this straight line. So what we want to notice is that from the top there, you can see I put 5. 2 plus 3. 2 plus 3, that's 5, which is the same like on the left hand side. 5 there, the total distance. And then if you look from one end to the other end, that will be 7. And that 7, we get it from 3 plus 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. And what we can do, so if we look at the green triangle, the tangent is opposite, which is 7, divided by the adjacent, which is 3. So in the green triangle, tangent of the angle theta is the opposite, which is 7, divided by the adjacent, which is 3. So the angle is inverse tangent of 7 over 3. In your calculator, it gives you 66.8014 degrees. So the bearing is this angle from the north all the way around. So that's the bearing there, is that angle there. So you add 180 plus 66.8. That gives you 246.8 degrees. For part B, you can find the distance between 2 points, x1, y1, x2, y2, using this distance formula at the top there. And also speed is given by distance divided by time. So x1 is 4, y1 is minus 2, x2 is minus 3, y2 is minus 5. If you substitute those in the formula, x2, x1, y2, y1, you will get distance of square root of 58. And the time, it starts at 10 o'clock and gets up to 12:45. So the time is given by 12:45 minus 10 o'clock, 2 hours 45 minutes. And you change 45 minutes to hours. 60 minutes is 1 hour. 45 minutes is 0.75 of an hour. So the total time is 2 hours, 2.75 hours. So square root of 58 divided by 2.75, it gives you 2.77 kilometers per hour. So that's your complete answer for question 2. You've got the bearing and you've got the speed. Question number 3. In this question, you must show all stages of your working. Solve the equation x root 2 minus root 18 equals to x, writing the answers as a surd in simplest form. So to solve this question, combine the terms in x, factorize, and divide to find x. So we'll take the x to the left-hand side. It becomes square x root 2 minus x is equals to, take the minus 18 to the right, it becomes plus root 18. We factorize. X is common, it comes out of the bracket. And you're left with root 2 minus 1 is equals to square root of 18. Now we divide by square root of 2 minus 1. So we'll take it to the right-hand side. Because on the left is times, we take it to the right, it becomes divide. So square root of 18 divided by square root of 2 minus 1. And we do what they call rationalize the denominator. So to rationalize the denominator, if you look at the bottom, I've put the formula. You multiply the numerator and denominator by the complex conjugate. So we have root 2 minus 1. We multiply by root 2 plus 1. So in the denominator is square root of 2 minus 1. We write the same thing, but change that minus to plus. So multiply by root 2 plus 1 over root 2 plus 1. And notice that root 2 plus 1 divided by root 2 plus 1 is the same as 1. So it's the same as multiplying by 1. So when you multiply it, it will be root 18 times root 2 and root 18 times 1. You remove the brackets all over. You would, to multiply the denominator, you can put in your calculator, or you just square. Root 2 squared is 2 and 1 squared is 1. 2 minus 1 will give you 1. So root 2 squared is 2 and 1 squared is 1. 2 minus 1 gives you 1. So your answer would be 6 plus 3 root 2. And you can check with the calculator. And if you just put root 18 over root 2 minus 1, it will give you the answer. But in the exam, you need to show your working by showing that you multiply by root 2 plus 1 all over root 2 plus 1. So the calculator will give you the answer, but you need to show the working when you're doing it, rationalizing the denominator. That's how we call the process. So that's the answer for question 3I. Solve the equation. 4 to the power 3x minus 2 is equals to 1 over 2 root 2. What we want to do is we want to set both sides as powers of 2. The left side, the left-hand side, and the right-hand side. You want to set both sides as powers of 2. 4 is the same as 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 4. So you write it as 2 squared to the power 3x minus 2. 1 over 2 half is the same as 2 to the power minus 1. So write half as 2 to the minus 1. 1 over square root of 2, 1 over root 2 is 1 over 2 to the half, which is the same as 2 to the minus a half. So 1 over root 2 is the same as 2 to the minus a half. Now we notice the base is the same. There's 2, 2, 2. The base is the same. So we would add the power. Minus 1 plus minus a half will give you minus 3 over 2. And since the base is the same, the powers have to be the same. So 6x minus 4 is equals to minus 3 over 2. So we take minus 4 to the right, it becomes plus 4. So 6x is minus 3 over 2 plus 4. So x is equals to 2.5 divided by 6, and x is 5 over 12. Question number 4. In 1997, the average carbon dioxide emissions of new cars in the UK was 190 grams per kilograms. In 2005, the average carbon dioxide emissions of new cars in the UK had fallen to 169 grams per kilograms. Given 8 grams per kilogram is the average carbon dioxide emissions for new cars in the UK n years after 1997, and using a linear model, form an equation linking A and N. So we are going to use this formula at the bottom. Y minus Y1 is equals to M bracket X minus X1. And we're going to use this one, equation for gradient, Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So in 1997, we have 0, that's the start, and 190 grams per kilograms. So that's like your X1, and that's your Y1. In 2005, that is 8 years. From 1997 to 2005 is 8 years. So X2 is 8, and you emit 169 grams per kilogram. That's Y2. And for N years, you emit 8 grams per kilograms. So let's find the gradient. It's change in Y. Y2 minus Y1, 169 minus 190 divided by 8 minus 0. That gives you minus 21 over 8, which is minus 2.625. And the equation for the line Y minus Y1 is equals to M bracket X minus X1. A represents Y, and 8 grams per kilograms represents the Y. 190 is our Y1. We're using the one at the start, 190 grams per kilograms. The gradient minus 21 over 8, minus 21 over 8. N represents our X now, and 0 in 1997. So we use 190 in 1997 for X1, for Y1, and 0 for X1. And from there now, minus 190, you take it to the right, it becomes plus 190. Minus 21 over 8 times n, it gives you minus 21 over 8 n. So your answer is minus 21 over 8n plus 190, or you can write minus 2.625n plus 190. Question 4b says, in 2016, the average carbon dioxide emissions of new cars in the UK was 120 grams per kilometers. Comment on the suitability of your model in light of this information. So our equation is A is equals to minus 2.625n plus 190. So we substitute A equals to 120 into the linear model to find n. So A is 120 is equals to minus 2.625n plus 190. So we want to do 120, take 190 to the left hand side. 120 minus 190, it gives you minus 70. And then we divide by minus 2.625. So n becomes 26.667 years. And that is greater than 19 years. So if you subtract 2016 minus 1997, it gives you 19 years. So that is greater than 19 years. What we can do is, we can substitute n equals to 19 years that we've calculated into the linear model to find A. So if we do that, A would be equals to minus 2.625 times 19 plus 190. That will give us A to be 140.125 grams per kilograms. And if we compare, 140 is bigger than 120. It is predicting a much higher value, so it is not suitable. It's predicting a higher value, so it's not suitable. So in 2016, the average carbon dioxide emission of new cars in the UK was 120 grams per kilograms. But we've got here 140.125 grams. So a much higher value, so it is not suitable. Question number 5. Figure 1 shows the design for a structure used to support a roof. The structure consists of 4 steel beams, AB, BD, BC, and AD. Find to 1 decimal place the size of angle ACB. We're going to use this formula at the bottom of this page. I've put it there, and it is the sine rule. We're going to use it to find out this angle. So what you want to do is you want to do sine theta divided by 12. Sine theta divided by 12 is equals to sine 27 divided by 7. So sine theta, we take the 12 to the right hand side, it becomes times 12. So the 12 goes to the right, it becomes times 12. So it comes sine 27 over 7 times 12. And to get the angle, we find inverse sine of that. So inverse sine of 0.778 will give you the angle theta will be 51.1024. Now, the sine rule sometimes produces 2 possible solutions for missing angle. So that angle is clearly not an acute angle. It is not acute. It is an obtuse angle. So to get the obtuse angle, the angle is 180 minus 51.1024. So it gives you 128.89, which is the angle is 128.9, because you want the answer to 1 decimal place. Question 5b. Find the minimum length of steel that needs to be bought to make the complete structure. So what we want to do, we want to find the length of AD from A to D. So we use the cosine rule. 7 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 times 7 times 12 equals 101.9. And when you do that, it would give you AD to be 15.09. And how did we get 101.9? 180 minus 128.9, that gives us 51, which is 51.1, which is that angle there. And 180 minus 51.1 and minus 27 would give you this angle. That's how we go 101.9. 180 minus 51.1 and minus 27 will give you 101.9. Now the total length is given by AB plus BC plus BD plus AD, total length of beams. Now we add them, 12 plus 7 plus 7 plus 15.09. The total length is 42 meters. So that's a detailed diagram for using for part B that you can use. You know it's 27 plus 51.1, it'll give you this one. And 180 minus 128.9, it'll give you what, 51.1. So that's the complete answer for question 5A. And that's a complete answer for 5B. And you will get 41.09 meters, so you would buy 42 meters. Question number 6. Find the first 4 terms in ascending powers of x in the binomial expansion of 1 plus kx to the power 10, where k is a non-zero constant. Write each coefficient as simply as possible. We're going to use the binomial expansion formula. So what we want to notice is that A is 1, B is kx, and n is 10. So we're going to have, so that's A is 1, B is kx, and n is 10. So we would have 1 to the power 10, 10 combination 1, 1 to the power 10 minus 1, which gives you 9, and then kx. 10 combination 2, 1 to the power 10 minus 2, and then kx squared. 10 minus 2 is 8, 8 plus 2 is 10. 10 minus 1 is 9, k to the 1, 1 plus 9 is 10. And this is 10. The power must add up to 10. And then 10 combination 3, 1 to the 10 minus 3, kx cubed. 10 minus 3 is 7, 7 plus 3 is 10. 10 combination 4, 1 to the power 10 minus 4, kx to the power 4. 10 minus 4 is 6, 6 plus 4 is 10. So this 1 goes to that power there, this 2 goes to that power there, this 3 goes to that power there, this 4 goes to that power there. So now you can write it out as, you can put this in your calculator. 1 to any power is 1. So you end up with 1 plus 10kx plus 45k squared x squared. Don't forget it's k squared and x squared. 45k squared x squared, and then 120 k cubed and x cubed. Given that in the expansion of 1 plus kx to the power 10, the coefficient of x cubed is 3 times the coefficient of x, find the possible values of k. So the coefficient of x cubed is 3 times the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x cubed is 120 k squared, is 3 times the coefficient of x, which is 10k. So you divide by 30. 120 divided by 30, it gives you 4. 3 times 10 is 30. Divided by 30, it gives you 1. So 4k cubed equals to k. So 4k cubed minus k equals to 0. You bring k to the left, it becomes minus. You factorize. K comes out 4k squared minus 1 equal to 0. So either k is equal to 0 or 4k squared minus 1 equal to 0. 4k squared, you take minus 1 to the right, it becomes plus 1. Times 4 goes to the right, it becomes divided by 4. K squared is 1 divided by 4. And the square, k squared goes to the other side, the square goes to the other side, becomes, the square goes to the other side, becomes square root of 1 over 4, which is plus or minus a half. So k is plus a half or k is minus a half. That's your answer for question 6a. And that's the answer for question 6b. Question number 7. Given that k is a positive constant and the integral from 1 to k, brackets open, 5 over 2 root x plus 3 dx is 4, show that 3k plus 5 root k minus 12 equals to 0. So this is where we start and this is where we end. Look at the start and look at the end. We're going to use this integration formula. You add 1 to the power n plus 1, divide by the new power, divide by n plus 1. So x to the half, we would take it to the top. So square root of x is the same as x to the power half. And if you take x to the power half to the numerator, it becomes x to the minus a half. It becomes x to the minus a half. So the 5 over 2 stays the same. The x to the half goes to the top, is x to the minus a half. We're setting it up so that we can integrate. And the 3 stays the same. So integration says add 1 to the power. Minus a half plus 1 would give you a half. And you divide by that power. So you get x to the half divided by a half. And 5 over 2 is the same as 2.5. So 2.5 divided by a half, when you divide by half, it's like double it. 2.5 times 2 is 5. And then the x to the half is same as square root of x. And when you integrate 3, you just add an x, so it becomes 3x. And you're integrating from 1 to k. Now we substitute in k. So k goes in there, so it becomes 5 root k plus 3k, k goes there. And now we substitute 1, 5 root 1 plus 3 times 1. So that gives you 5 root k plus 3k minus 8 minus 4. So 3k plus 5 root k minus 12 equals to 0. QED. Quod erat demonstrantum. So question 7b. Yeah, what I said earlier, quod erat demonstrantum. It means as required to show. So it's just something you do, you say or do at the end of when you've proven an equation. Now, when you integrate from 1 to k, you get that. So we can let k to be x. So k, square root of k is x. So when you square that side and square this side, that means k is equals to x squared. So if k is x squared, so that means this would be 3x squared plus 5x minus 12 equals to 0. You factorize that, 3x minus 4x plus 3 equals to 0. So x is equals to 4 over 3, x equals minus 3. Now replace x with square root of k. So square root of k is equals to 4 over 3, square root of k equals to minus 3. To remove the square root, you square the right hand side. So k is 4 over 3 squared, and k is equals to minus 3 squared. 4 squared over 3 squared is 16 over 9, so k is 16 over 9, which is what we want. k is equals to 9, we reject k is equals to 9. When you use k is equals to 16 over 4, you get an answer of 4. When you use k is equals to 9, you get an answer which is not 4. So that's why we reject. So you can use your integral in the calculator to check your answer. So we reject 9 because we do not get 4. We use 16 over 9, it gives us 4. So that's your answer for question 7A. And that's the answer for question 7B. And that shows you why we rejected k equals to 9. Question number 8. The temperature theta degrees Celsius of a cup of tea at t minutes after it was placed on a table in a room is modeled by the equation theta is equals to 18 plus 65 e to the minus t over 8. Find, according to the model, the temperature of the cup of tea when it was placed on the table. When it is placed on the table, the time starts, so t is equals to 0. So if you put t is equals to 0 there, theta would be 18 plus 65 e to the minus 0 over 8. E to the minus 0 over 8 is e to the 0, which is 1. So it becomes 18 plus 65, which is 83 degrees Celsius. That's the temperature at t equals to 0. Find, according to the model, part B, the value of t to 1 decimal place when the temperature of the cup of tea was 35 degrees Celsius. When the temperature of the cup of tea was 35 degrees Celsius, so we replace theta with 35. So we replace theta with 35. It's plus 18 on the left. We'll take it to the right. 35 minus 18, it gives you 17. It's times 65. We take it to the right. It becomes divided by 65. 17 divided by 65. Now we can use natural logs. So we put ln in front and put ln in front. Power to the front minus t over 8 goes to the front. It becomes minus t over 8 ln e. So we are using power to the front law. Is equals to ln 17 over 65. Ln e is 1. So that means minus t over 8 is equals to ln 17 over 65. It's divided by 8. You take it to the right, it becomes times 8. So divide by 8 comes to the right, it becomes times 8. So t becomes equals to minus 8 times ln 17 over 65. And you put that in your calculator, you'll get 10.7293. To 1 decimal place is 10.7. So 8 part C. Explain why, according to this model, the temperature of the cup of tea could not fall to 15 degrees Celsius. So if we write it as theta is equals to 18 plus 65, and for e to the minus t over 8, we can put it underneath. It becomes e to the t over 8. So as t becomes very large, that means you're dividing 65 by a very large number, and all of that will be approximately a 0. So when you divide by a very large number, it becomes almost 0. So the minimum temperature would be 18. That would be the lowest temperature. So t tends to infinity. This sign means infinity. That means t is a very large number. Let's say 5,000. So e to the 5,000 divided by 8 is a large number. And 65 divided by a very large number is almost 0. So that's why all of these will become 0 when the number is large, and you're only left with 18. Or what you can do is theta is 17, theta is equals to 15, and you can substitute 18 plus 65 e to the minus t over 8 equals to 15. And then when you solve it, you get minus 3. And you cannot find the ln of a negative number. So that means theta cannot be 15. The temperature mu degrees Celsius of a second cup of tea, t minutes after it was placed on a table in a different room, is modeled by the equation mu is equal to a plus b e to the minus t over 8, where a and b are constants. Figure 2 shows a sketch of mu against t with 2 data points that lie on the curve. The line L, also shown on figure 2, is the asymptote to the curve. Using the equation of this model and the information given in figure 2, find an equation for the asymptote L. We're going to find an equation for L, and we have 2 data points given on the curve. First, we want to use the data points 0.94 and 8.50 in order to form 2 equations in A and B. So we have 94 for the temperature is equals to A plus B e to the 0. So 94 is equals to A plus B. That's equation 1. 50 is equals to A plus B e to the minus 8 over 8, which is minus 8 over 8 is minus 1. So 50 is equals to A plus B e to the minus 1, equation 2. To solve the 2 equation, equation 1 take away 2. So equation 1 is 94 equals to A plus B. Take away 50 equals to A plus B e to the minus 1. 94 take away 50 is 44. A take away A is 0. B minus B e to the minus 1 stays the same. And we can factorize. B is common there, B is common there. This is like B times 1. So if you take B out, you're left with 1 minus e to the minus 1. So if we take 1 minus e to the minus 1 to the left-hand side, it becomes divide. So 44 divided by 1 minus 1 over e. 1 minus 1 over e, you can change it to be 1 over 1 minus 1 over e, which gives you e minus 1 over e. So you would multiply 1 times e is e, 1 times 1 is 1, and then 1 times e is e. So using the upside down table method. So e minus 1 over e, which you put there. When you divide, you change it to times and flip them around. So it becomes 44 times e divided by e minus 1. That's what b is. So once you've got b, you substitute b in equation 1 to find a. So that's equation 1. 94 is equals to a plus b. So we take that b now and substitute it for what b is. So b comes in there. We can write it there. So a is equals to 94 minus b. 94 over 1 minus 44 e over e minus 1. So you do the upside down table method. 94 times e minus 1 minus 1 times 44 divided by 1 times e minus 1. So 94 times e is 94. 94 times minus 1 is 94. Minus 44e divided by e minus 1. So 94 minus 44, it gives you 50e. So it's 50e minus 94 divided by e minus 1. So that is what a is. So you can write mu, which is equals to a plus be to the minus t over 8. So that is a. So mu is equals to a, which is a, that one is a, plus this one is b, e to the minus t over 8. So we can deduce that mu would be 50e minus 94 over e minus 1 when t becomes very large. Because when t becomes very large, this becomes 44e divided by e to the t over 8 times e minus 1. It's like 44e divided by a very large number, and that would be 0. Because this will come underneath. So it becomes 44e divided by e to the t over 8 times e minus 1. T over 8 will be a very large number. So 44e divided by a large number, which will be 0. So if that is 0, you're left with that as the value. That's the answer for question 8a. That's for question 8b. That's for question 8c. And that's your answer for question 8d. Question number 9. Figure 3 shows part of the curve with equation y equals to 3 cos x degrees. The point P, CD, is a minimum point on the curve, with C being the smallest negative value of x at which a minimum occurs. State the value of C and the value of D. So it's minus 180 degrees for A, for C, and minus 3 for D, because the point CD is a minimum point. And part B, state the coordinates of the point to which P is mapped by the transformation which transforms the curve with equation y equals to 3 cos x degrees to the curve with equation y is equals to 3 cos x degrees over 4. What happens is here is when you divide by 4, you would multiply the x value by 4. So remember, when you divide the x, which is inside the bracket, by 4, you multiply the x value by 4. So minus 180, comma 3 would become 4 times minus 180, which would give you 720, minus 720 and 3. Now, when you have 3 cos x minus 36 degrees in bracket, what you would do is the minus 36 would be a plus 36, because x behaves funny. When it's a minus, you instead add that value. Minus 36 means add 36. The way I remember it is by saying people who live together don't get on. And that would change the x value at 36. So what you would get would be minus 180 plus 36, which will give you minus 144 degrees. So just to quickly summarize 9a, you can plot that graph y equals to 3 cos x degrees in your graphics calculator, and you use GSolve and find the minimum point, and that would give you minus 180 and minus 3. And when you divide by 4, you times 4. So CD, you will times C by 4, because it only affects the x. So you times C by 4. And it's minus 36. So CD, the coordinate, you will add 36 to C, because it only affects the x. Question 9c. Solve for 450 degrees less than theta less than 720. 3 cos theta equals to 8 tan theta, giving your solution to 1 decimal place. So to do this question, we're going to use tan theta is equals to sine theta over cos theta, and sine squared theta plus cos squared theta is equals to 1. And we're going to find at least one value of theta from the quadratic equation in sine theta. So we have 3 cos theta on the left-hand side is equals to 8 tan theta on the right-hand side. We want to change tan theta using that identity there. So tan theta, we change it to sine theta over cos theta. Now we take divide by cos theta on the left, we take it to the right, it becomes times cos theta. So cos theta times cos theta becomes cos squared theta is equals to 8 sine theta. Now we want to make all of them the same, like sine theta, sine theta. So we get rid of cos squared theta. To get rid of cos squared theta, we use this identity. Cos squared theta is 1 minus sine squared theta. So we replace cos squared theta with 1 minus sine squared theta. Now we remove the bracket. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times minus sine squared theta is minus 3 sine squared theta equals to 8 sine theta. So that's what we use for replacing cos squared theta. Plus 3 goes to the right, it becomes minus 3. Minus 3 sine squared theta goes to the right, it becomes plus 3 sine squared theta. So we have 3 sine squared theta plus 8 sine theta minus 3 equals to 0. We can solve this as replacing x with sine theta. So replacing sine theta with x, you will have it as 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. And solve that in your calculator, you get x to be 1 over 3 and x to be minus 3. So when sine theta is equals to minus 3, you reject that. And in the exams, it is okay to use your calculator to solve this from here. So we're going to use the one that says sine theta is equals to 1 over 3. An inverse sine of 1 over 3, we want it between 450 and 720. Very, very important. And the answer between 450 and 720 would be 520.5 degrees. That would be the only answer. Another way you can do it, you can plot the graph of y equals to sine x. And you put from 450 to 720. And you find out where it crosses. And that would be at 520.5. So that's what you will plot. You will start at 450 and you will end at 720. And you plot y equals to sine x and y equals to 1 over 3. And where do they meet? 1 over 3 is the red line. Y equals to 1 over 3 is that red line. Y equals to sine x is the blue curve. And where do they meet? Because it's sine y. So where they meet, it gives you the answer, which is at that 520. So that's the answer for question 9A and B. And that's the answer for question 9C. And that's the graph you can draw for question 9, part C. Question number 10. Use the factor theorem to show that g of x is divisible by x minus 5. This is the factor theorem at the top there. Says it's f of p equals to 0, then x minus p is a factor. So we got x minus 5. So that means x equals to 5 is a factor. So we substitute 5 in there. So we have 2 times 5 cubed plus 5 squared minus 41 times 5 minus 70. That will give you 0. You got 250 plus 25 minus 205 minus 70 is 0. So you have to make a conclusion by saying g of 5 is 0. This arrow means it implies if g of 5 is 0, that means when you substitute 5, you get 0. It implies x minus 5 is a factor. Hence, g of x is divisible by x minus 5. You must write that statement down. Part B says, hence, showing all your working, write g of x as a product of 3 linear factors. So hence means we must use the answer from before. So this is what g of x is. We know x minus 5 is a factor, so we do long division. So you lay it out and the function goes inside the box. So 2x cubed divided by x, it gives you 2x squared. So what you're doing, you divide. This is the pattern. You divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and you repeat. Dead monkeys smell bad. That's how you remember it. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, and repeat. So what we're going to do is 2x cubed divided by x. That's we've done divide. It becomes 2x squared. Because if you had 2x cubed divided by x, one of them would cancel. You're left with x squared. So it's 2x squared. You divide, now you do multiply. 2x squared times x, it gives you 2x cubed. 2x squared times minus 5, it gives you minus 10x squared. Next, subtract. 2x cubed minus 2x cubed is 0. X squared minus 10x squared. Minus and minus becomes a plus. So it becomes plus 11x squared. Next one, bring down. You bring down the 41x. And then you repeat the process. You start again with, you go back and start with divide. 11x squared divided by x. 11x squared divided by x. It gives you 11x because one of the x would cancel. So you write 11x. Next step, multiply. 11x times x is 11x squared. 11x times minus 5 is minus 55x. Next step, subtract. 11x squared minus 11x squared is 0. Minus 41 minus 51. This minus and minus becomes a plus. So it's 55 minus 51. It gives you 14x. And the next step, bring down 70. We'll go back and repeat. 14x divided by 4x, it gives you 14. Multiply is the next. 14 times x is 14x. 14 times minus 5 is minus 70. Subtract is the next. 14x minus 14x is 0. Minus 70 minus 70. Minus and minus becomes a plus. So it becomes 70 minus 70 is 0. Now you end with 0 and 0. If you divide, it will be 0. And it carries on 0, 0, 0. So that's where you end when there's 2 zeros at the end, or your remainder. So your answer is 2x squared plus 11x plus 14. So now you can write g of x as x minus 5 times that. So that's x minus 5, the divisor. And that's your answer, the quotient. Now we need to factorize this quadratic, 2x squared plus 11x plus 14. Now we can factorize it by looking at this. 2 times 14, it gives you 28. And we find the factors of 28. 28 divided by 1 is 28. 28 divided by 4 is 7. 28 divided by 7 is 4. So the factors of 28 are 1, 4, 7, 14. But we want 2 of them that will add to make 11. Which 2 add to make 11? 4 and 7. So we have 2x squared stays the same. We split 11 into 4x plus 7. 4 plus 7 is 11. And the 14 stays the same. So this is what is very important. We have 1, 2, 3. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The reason why we split the middle one into 2 is so that we have 4 things and we have a pair. This is the first pair and this is the second pair, which we can factorize. Let's factorize the first pair. 4 is the same as 2 times 2. So there's 2 there, there's 2 there, the 2 comes out. There's an x there, there's an x there, the x comes out. So we are left with x and we are left with 2. 7x plus 14. 14 is like 7 times 2. There's 7 there, there's 7 there. It comes out of the bracket. We're left with x plus 2. X plus 2 is found in this left expression and x plus 2 is found there. So x plus 2 comes out of the bracket and you're left with 2x and you're left with 7. So it's x plus 2 bracket to x plus 7. So now you can write g of x as x minus 5, 2x plus 7, x plus 2. The final region R is bounded by the curve with equation y equals to g of x and the x-axis and lies below the x-axis. Find using algebraic integration the exact value of the area of R. So for part C, if we put that function on the graphics calculator to plot the graph, the blue curve is the graph you can see there. What we want to notice is where does it cross the x-axis? It crosses the x-axis at -2 and it crosses at 5. And they say we want to find the area which is below the x-axis. So I've colored it in green. What is below the x-axis? I've colored it in green. That area below the x-axis. We start at -2. We end at 5. So we want to integrate from -2 to 5 g of x dx. That's the plan. And if you were to try this in the graphics calculator, this is the view window I'm using. From view window, you start from x is -10 to 10 and put the y minimum to -200 to 25. So -200 is low there, 25 is up there, so that you can see the bottom part clearly. And that is how I entered the function in the graph. That just helps you if you want to plot this graph and try it yourself. So now that we've established that we find the area, we integrate from -2 to 5, we get on with the integration. Integration says add 1 to the power, divide by the new power. So 3 plus 1 is 4, and we divide by 4. And 2 divided by 4 is a half. So it becomes x to the 4 over half. Add 1 to the power, it becomes x cubed, and divide by the new power, divide by 3. We can write it as 1/3. 41x is like 41x to the 1, add 1 to the power, 41x squared over 2. 70 is like 70x to the 0. You add 1, you divide it by 1. X to the 0 plus 1 becomes x. 0 plus 1 being 70x. And we're going from -2 to 5. We substitute the numbers. 5 goes there, 5 goes there, 5 goes there, 5 goes there. So you have 1/2, 5 to the 4, plus 1/3 times 5 cubed, minus 41/2 times 5 squared, minus 70 times 5. Put that in your calculator, it gives you -1525/3. And you put -2 there, and put -2 there, and -2 there, and -2 there. And that'll give you -190/3. Now is the top one minus the bottom one. So -1525/3 minus 190/3. That gives you -1715/3. But area is minus, it means it's below the x-axis. That's what the minus means. The area is a positive quantity, so you write it as positive 1715/3. Or area is 571 2/3. So that's your answer for question 10A. That's the answer for question 10B. And finally, for question 10C. Question number 11. A circle C1 has equation x squared plus y squared plus 18x minus 2y plus 30 equals to 0. The line L is the tangent to C1 at the point P minus 5, 7. Find an equation of L in the form ax plus by plus c equals to 0, where a, b, and c are integers to be found. First thing we want to do, we want to complete the square. Find half of 18 is 9. So have x plus 9 squared. And when you multiply x plus 9 times x plus 9, you get x squared plus 18x plus 81. So we have to minus 81 because there's no 81 here. Find half of -2 is -1. When you multiply y minus 1 times y minus 1, you get y squared minus 2y plus 1. we notice that there's +1 here and there's no +1 here. So we have to -1. So what we will have is x plus 9 squared minus 81 plus y minus 1 all squared minus 1 plus 30 equal to 0. Minus 81 minus 1 plus 30, it gives you 52. So that's the equation of the circle. The center is -9, 1. And the radius will be square root of 52. Now we want to find the gradient between 2 points. To find the gradient, we use -5 and 7 and -9 and 1, center. So it's 7 minus 1 over -5 plus minus 9, which is -5 plus 9. It gives you 3 over 2. And that's the formula for gradient that we're using. So the gradient of tangent line will be -1 over that gradient, -1 over 3 over 2, which will give you -2 over 3. And that's the formula I'm using on the site. And that's the explanation for it. If a line has a gradient m, a line perpendicular to it has a gradient of -1 over m. So if that's the radius and that's the tangent, so the gradient for this one is m, this one is -1 over m, because that part of the radius is the part of the circle like that. So you have your circle, that's the radius, that's the tangent, this angle is 90. So this gradient is m, which is 2 over 3. This one is -2 over 3. Now we want to find equation of a line. We use this equation, y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So y stays the same. y1 is -7, which y1 is 7, which we get from there 7. Gradient is -2 over 3. X stays the same. And x minus -5 will become x plus 5, because there's a minus there. -5 become +5. Now we multiply by 3. 3 times y is 3y. And 3 times -7 is -21. We take the -2 to the left. So it becomes +2x plus 3y. -10 goes to the right. It becomes +10. -21 plus 10 will be -11. So you get 2x plus 3y minus 11 is equal to 0. Part B says a different circle C2 has equation x squared plus y squared minus 8x plus 12y plus k is equal to 0, where k is a constant. Given that C2 lies entirely in the fourth quadrant, find the range of possible values for k. Now we want to complete the square for x squared minus 8x and y squared plus 12y. So half of 8 is 4. So have x minus 4, x minus 4, which will give x squared minus 8 squared minus 16. And half of 12 is 6. So when we multiply that, we'll get y squared plus 12y minus 36, which comes from 6 times 6. And that minus 16 will come from the 4 times 4. Plus k equals to 0. So x minus 4 squared plus y plus 6 all squared is equals to -16 minus 36 is -52. We take -52 to the right, it becomes +52. You take plus k to the right, it becomes -k. So that's equals to 52 minus k. Since it lies in the fourth quadrant, the radius will have to be less than 4. So that means r squared is equals to 52 minus k. Question number 12. An advertising agency is monitoring the number of views of an online advert. The equation log V is equals to 0.072t plus 2.379 is used to model the total number of views of the advert V in the first T days after the advert went live. Show that V is equals to AB to the T, where A and B are constants to be found. And give the value of A to the nearest whole number and give the value of B to 3 significant figures. What we want to do is, this is log V to the base 10. So 10 to the power, so the 10 here, 10 to the power 0.072t plus 2.379 is equals to V. Now we can separate this right-hand side. It will be 10 to the power 2.379 times 10 to the power 0.072t. And we can compare this with V is equals to A, B to the power T. So 10 to the power 0.72 is the same like B. And 10 to the 2.379 is the same as A. So you put this in the calculator, you get A to be 239. And if you put that in the calculator, you get B to be 1.18. So B is 1.18 to 3 significant figure, and A is 239 to the nearest whole number. So you can write it as V is 239 times 1.18 to the power T. Number 12b, interpret with reference to the model the value of AB. So that's A and that's B. What does AB mean? If T is equals to 1, so we put 1 there, it will be 239 times 239 times 1.18. Or if we put the 1, there, which will just give V is equals to A times B to the 1, which is AB. So the value of AB is the total number of views of the advert 1 day after it went live. If T is the number of days, 1 day after it went live, T will be 1, so just be A times B. That's what AB means. Using this model, calculate the total number of views of the advert in the first 20 days after the advert went live. Give your answer to 2 significant figures. So we want to substitute T is equals to 20, and we can put T is equals to 20 in this equation or in this one. So I'm going to use the first one. So V is 239 times 1.18 to the power 20. If you put that in your calculator, you get 6,546.93527. And you want it to 2 significant figures. After the first 2 numbers, you put a line. 4 is smaller than 5, so that will be 0 and 0. So that gives you 6,500 to 2 significant figures. So that's question 12A. That's question 12B. And that's complete question 12B and C. A curve has equation y is equals to g of x. Given that g of x is a cubic expression in which the coefficient of x cubed is equal to the coefficient of x. The curve with equation y equals to g of x passes through the origin. The curve with equation y equals to g of x has a stationary point at 2, 9. Find g of x. So the first thing we want to do is g of x is ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d. D is equals to 0 because it passes through the origin. So if x is 0, y is 0. So that's y. So that would be 0, 0, 0, and 0 there. So D would be 0. And next thing you're given is A and C are the same. A is equals to C. I've colored A in yellow and C in yellow. They are equal. coefficient of x cubed is the same as the coefficient of x. Coefficient of x cubed is the same as coefficient of x. So we just write as a. Instead of CA and C, we write A and A because they are the same. And we use 2, 9. 2 and 9. So if we have 9 for y, we have 2 for a. So we have 8a plus 4b plus 2a. 8a plus 2a, it gives us 10a plus 4b equals to 9. That's equation 1. So first of all, g dash of x when you differentiate is 3a squared plus 2bx plus a. So g dash of 2 will be 3 times 2 squared, which will be 12, plus 4b plus a. So 12a plus a will give you 13a plus 4b equals to 0. So we want to solve simultaneously to find a and b. So 10a minus 13a, it gives you minus 3a. 4b minus b, 4b equals to 0. 9 minus 0 gives you 9. So a would be 9 divided by minus 3. Minus 3 goes to the other side, it becomes divide. So a is minus 3. And c will be minus 3 because the coefficient of x cubed is equal to the coefficient of x. And we need to find b. We can use this one to find b. So since a is minus 3, we substitute minus 3 in there. 13 times minus 3 plus 4b equals to 0. 13 times 3 is 39. Take it to the other side, is plus 39. Divide by 4. 39 divided by 4 is b. So g of x is ax cubed plus bx squared plus ax. So a is minus 3, so it's minus 3x cubed plus 39 over 4 is b minus 3, which is a. So that's what g of x is. But b, prove that the stationary point at 2, 9 is a maximum. You differentiate twice. That's why the f double dash of a means you differentiate twice and put in 2, that value 2. And if it's less than 0 or negative, the point is a local maximum. So you differentiate g dash of x. When you differentiate that, it gives you minus 9x squared plus 39 over 2x minus 3. You differentiate the second time. 2 times 9 will be minus 18x plus 39 over 2. Differential of minus 3 is 0. Now you substitute 2 there. Minus 18 times 2 gives you minus 36 plus 39 over 2. It gives you minus 33 over 2, which is negative. So since g dash of 2 is minus 33 over 2 is less than 0, hence it's a maximum point. Question number 13. Prove that for all positive values of a and b, 4a over b plus b over a is greater than or equals to 4. So we're going to use proof by contradiction. It says greater than or equals to 4. So a contradiction would be something less than 4. Because I want to prove by contradiction is bigger than or equals to 4, and we want something which is less than 4. So we would assume that there exists an a or b greater than 0 such that 4a over b plus b over a is less than 4. Now we write 4a over b plus b over a is less than 4. You take the plus 4 to the left, it becomes minus 4. Now we can multiply all of them by AB. So multiply this by AB, multiply this by AB, multiply that by AB. We just want to get rid of the AB in the denominator. So the B will cancel there. You have 4a squared left. The A will cancel. You have b squared left. And this would be minus 4ab is less than 0. And if you notice, 4a squared minus 4ab plus b squared is the same as 2a minus b times 2a minus b. That's what you notice there. So that means 2a minus b all squared is less than 0. If you can check and make sure this is correct, 2a times 2a, it gives you 4a squared. 2a times b is 2a minus 2ab. Minus b times 2a is minus 2ab. Minus 2ab minus 2ab, it gives you minus 4ab. And minus b times minus b, it gives you b squared. So what we can conclude here is that when you subtract some numbers and square it, when you square any real number, it is always greater than or equal to 0. You cannot square a number and get something which is less than a negative. So this is not true. Hence, we have a contradiction. So when you square any real number, it is always greater than 0. It's greater than or equal to 0. It cannot be negative. So that's the complete solution for question 13, part A. Question 13b, prove by counterexample that this is not true for all values of a and b. So we can pick two numbers, a is 5 and b is minus 1. So we substitute that into 4a over b plus b over a. So a is 5, we substitute 5 there and substitute 5 there. And b is minus 1, it goes there and it goes there. So 4 times 5 is 20. 20 divided by minus 1 will give you minus 20. And minus 1 divided by 5. So minus 20 minus 1 over 5 is less than 4. So that is a proof by counterexample.